When it comes to voting, I vote for the men and the women of God, on the Word of God.
Okay.
On the Word of God, then they don't get into office whatsoever. And if they do get into office, like this last idiot did,
Hey, mister.
promise you that, but he ain't even fulfilled one of the promises that he said. He gets in on his word and then lies about the whole 8 years he was in office for.
When you become president, it doesn't like restart. Like you pick up where the other one left off. So whatever messes he made, you have to try to correlate and fix it for your presidency. And I think he did somewhat of a good job. You know, there's so much you can do in 8 years. You know, you can't fix an economy that's been broken for over 100 years.
The good thing about me is I'm the founder and the president of 2 different churches.
Which are?
Nation Shakers Ministries and Signs and Wonders Ministries.
Oh, you're really close to church.
So what's your dominate? Like what do you get? What's your 10 Commandments?
I don't have 10 Commandments. I follow to what the Word of God says.
Which is?
What does the Lotus Bible stand for, bruh?
The Lotus Bible?
What does the letters Bible stand for, bruh?
I don't know.
I have no idea either.
Basic
instructions before leaving Earth.
Before leaving Earth.
All right, and Burn, you were saying that
there's books that are older than the Bible. You do know this, right?
Yeah. And you do know that the Bible, there are exactly 4.2 billion copies of the Bible sold on a daily basis.
You do know that the books that are in the Bible is just a small portion of the ones that originally were in it. You know who decided what the version of Christianity that you're living in right now? The Catholic Church and 12 other families, rich super families who made up the religion that you're practicing right now.
Vern, what do you think of this? I see you're nodding and shaking your head.
Religion. I practice salvation.
All right. And what about you, Vern? Vern, what were you going to say?
Okay.
If you died today, for sure, beyond a shadow of a doubt, without any second thought, if you died,
Vern, we can't.
I would spend eternity. I wouldn't spend eternity anywhere. I would go back to the other side, go over my life review, see what I learned from this particular life, and if I do decide to reincarnate into something else, then I will. I'm not religious. Like, I'm more spiritual. Religion puts God in a box. Who am I to dictate what God
right now, bro? You're
into that?
You're outside of the comfort zone, dude.
Vern,
right now, I'm going to call your bluff.
What do you mean?
What are you saying, Nectar?
To have God in a box is very convenient. We can take him
Of course.
everywhere.
A lunchbox we could eat with him too.
Which is
Oh my God.
And that's what they do to God. They use him as a scapegoat for everything.
And so they made God convenient.
He's infinite. He's undescribable. We cannot describe him.
But Apple says building a backdoor into the San Bernardino phone would give the FBI access to all iPhones. A court has ordered Apple to comply, but the tech giant says to do so would jeopardize the security their customers expect. In a statement, Apple CEO Tim Cook writes, "We have used encryption to protect our customers' personal data because we believe it's the only way to keep their information safe."
All right, you guys. So the segment that just passed was about Apple and their encryption data. How do you guys feel when it comes to encryption? Do you think that Apple should open their back doors when it comes to encryption?
This is something that I actually did read about prior, and just honoring their customers like that. I think the biggest thing, this is more of a precaution than anything else, because like they said, the danger is once they open this back door, then the FBI has access to anything. You have no privacy. So whatever you put out there, text, personal messages, anything can be used against you.
You know, I think Apple's being really wise. It makes the FBI, if they really want it, they have to push to get it, because it's the FBI. If they wanted to get Apple to do this, they could, you know? So I think it's good that they're not just, yeah, sure, like they're waiting until every step is made necessary.
Well, the thing is that that Apple would actually have to, this is something Apple would have to create. It's not like something they already have.
Because according to them, they don't even have access to it.
They don't have access to it. So it's not like they're forcing information. It's more of like, you can't force someone to build something. Like,
yeah, I need the FBI to put in some money for this then. If that's what they want, they need to go ahead and pay for it.
Yes.
One of our viewers, Andres, actually stated just now, if the government continues to have access to our information through technology just by having good ties with a company, we're making ourselves cattle in a farm.
That's
Yeah.
I agree. I don't know. I definitely am very proud to have my iPhone and like know that my information is not being thrown all over.
Exactly.
And things get leaked so easily.
Exactly. I would need them to do some research and decide whether or not this is more beneficial than harmful, because I don't see it as something that's going to help that many people.
Exactly. But what we're going to go ahead and do is actually get back to CCTV America and see what else they're talking about on there. Okay, guys?
That is problematic. That is unprecedented, which means that, with that information, with that technology, with that new iOS created for the FBI, that ultimately the FBI can use that for any phone going forward, no matter what, and that could be a problem.
Robert Siciliano with Hotspot Shield. Thank you for your time. Pointing fingers after a deadly attack, Turkish leaders say they know who's behind an explosion in the country's capital. Details.
All right, you guys. So that was pretty much a statement coming from Apple's camp, right? Was a representative of Apple. So I think Apple's taking the correct precautions when it comes to mobile security, because I feel like we have to have some sort of privacy on our own. If the government does want to intrude in our mobile technologies and in mobile personalities, then let us know. Let us be aware of it. Don't let it be something where you enter through the back door, take what you want, and leave, and then not know that somebody was in your house.
I mean, we all do things we regret once in a while. Could you imagine if the FBI has this and how politics would change, the whole dynamic of everything would change. Anything could be leaked at any moment, and I'm very glad that Apple's not.
Look at iCloud. iCloud is a perfect example.
And things are already getting leaked. You say things sometimes you don't mean. I just feel like I don't know.
Did you ever think that they'd actually have fingerprinting phones?
No. Absolutely.
And we're so easily able to just give up our organic rights, if you think about it.
Yeah.
Just your thumbprint is basically the most unique thing about you, because everybody's thumbprint is different.
That's so true.
So it's just a lot of things that we don't think about, and we just.
That's a very interesting point too.
Let's see what other viewers have to say. Siobhan, what is your input on this?
If you would go to that link to protect someone with a fingerprint encryption, then I understand thoroughly why they're like, no, I can't grant the FBI any access.
But I'm thinking even if it really did get to that far to where they created this backdoor for the FBI would then have your fingerprint. Do you get what I'm saying?
Exactly.
So
it would make the fingerprint useless.
Yeah.
Fingerprint encryption.
Well, yeah, exactly. Also, I'm interested to see what you guys think of how other companies would handle the situation. So what do you guys think?
The Apple's the big bad wolf. It's the company, and I feel like other companies would be a lot more submissive to FBI. I feel like Apple's a big enough company that could say no to the FBI.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I feel like other small companies, even Sony, Sony's a big company. I feel like the FBI would still kind of run right through them and be like, sorry, this is what you're going to do for us. And Apple's like, no, I have rights. I can't do it,
Exactly.
Other companies wouldn't necessarily even have the option to say no, like Apple does. So the first thing that we can talk about is the Diversity Visa Lottery. And that's something that takes place annually. And it's open during the month of October. You would start October 1st, and this year you could apply through November 3rd, and that's something that you can do online. It's free. You can do it every year, and that is for the chance to have a green card. So that's going to depend on what country you're from. Usually UK is on that list, and you can just do that application and see if you can get a green card. So that's something I put out there. You can do that at any time, even if you're applying for another visa. So that's an easy option, but again, it's a lottery, so it's not a guarantee. The next option, if you are thinking about whether you want to come to the U.S. and you want to come and meet with people, sign contracts, and get started, would be a tourist visa or a visitor visa. And you can apply for that from your home country, and that can be good for stays of up to 6 months, and it can last for 10 years.
And then also, if you are from England, there's also the visa waiver, and that is for 90 days. And you can come to the country, you just show up, you don't have to apply for it. But the downside is that if you were to stay in the US and you wanted to get a different type of visa, then you can't adjust status from there without going back to your home country, unless you're going to adjust status based on marriage. So the next one I'd like to talk about is based on employment. So if you were to come to the US and you had an employer sponsor, you may have heard of the H-1B visa. And that one is most desirable because it can lead to a green card, and you can have it for 3 years with 6-year renewal period. The downside of that is that it does have, it's very competitive. So last year we had about 277,000 people apply for about 85,000 spots. So it's about a 27% chance that you can get that visa. So that one we are actually working on right now. The application date is April 1st. So if this is something that you're interested in, I highly recommend you contact an attorney now and get that application going, especially if you went to a school in England or another country. You'd have to make sure that you have the equivalency approval. You have to have an outside party show that your degree is equivalent to a U.S. bachelor's degree. So we would need documentation from the employer and from you, and we would takes a few weeks to put together, and then we apply on April 1st. And the soonest you'd be able to work would be October of 2016. So the important thing to note there is that you would need a bachelor's degree or its equivalent. And then if you do have a master's, there's another 20,000 visas available for that category. And your degree has to match the type of job. So usually these are for STEM jobs like science, math, technology, but we have been successful with other creative types of jobs, like even working in the wine industry.
Sorry, one more. Guys, don't forget to put any questions in the feed right now, and we can highlight them in others to the Jennifer later.
Okay, thank you. Yes, yeah. You can always ask me questions right now, or you can email me later after the talk. Okay. Then the next visa would be if you already have a business in your home country and it's been around for 3 years, and you want to come and set up a branch in the U.S., we would do what's called the L1 visa, intercompany transfer visa. So that's where you would send somebody to the U.S. to open up an office here, and some of the benefits here are that there is no cap, there is no deadline, so you can really do this at any time. But you have to have worked for the company for 1 out of the last 3 years. So sometimes that is the downside if you have a brand new company. So you can stay for 3 years initially, and then 2 more extensions, so a maximum of 7 years. And then again, there's no cap and no deadline. And then that can be for somebody to come and open the branch, or if you have particular specialty skills and you're somebody really essential to the company, then you would come out under those circumstances. We also have the J1 visa, which is something that we use oftentimes if we're not able to find another suitable visa. And this is more like a paid internship. And in this case, you would be paying a company to be your sponsor. And there's no cap, no deadline, but the salary would be a little bit less than it would be under other types of jobs. And then depending on the type of field, you may have to go back to your home country for 2 years before adjusting to a different status, and that is to prevent the brain drain, really, so that not all the best people from their home country are going to be leaving the country. So now I want to talk more about the investor visa. This is something that is really great for entrepreneurs. If you have about $100,000 or more to invest in your new business, what we do is establish that as soon as you're approved with the visa, you're ready to open the door on your business. So if it's just something that is prospective and you're going to do it, that's not really going to get you the visa. So as I said, the order of my presentation is in complexity. So the E2 is a little bit more complex, but it does have better benefits. So you do have to show that you're not coming here to move here permanently, but that you would go back to your home country when you're done with the business. But if it is viable, you can renew it indefinitely. I have a client who has a liquor company, and he's been here for 25 years, and he's just been renewing it indefinitely. So what you would have to do is invest a, quote, substantial amount of capital in a U.S. entity. Usually that's around 100 to 250,000, and 50% of the owners have to be from your home country. So, in terms of it being a substantial amount of capital, that's really important. It has to be your own money. So a lot of times startups will get, maybe they'll put in 75,000 themselves, and they'll get 400 or more from another investor, and that may change it and mess that up a little bit. So we try to have it be your own money. And then the most important part of this application would be your business plan. And we can't have it just be hopes and dreams. It has to be that you put your money at risk. So that means you've signed contracts, you have a lease, maybe you spend money on marketing, inventory, and so that when you get that approval, you're ready to go. Now, this can be available for 1 to 5 years to start, and then as long as you have to renew it at the end of the period, and as long as the business is still viable, you can keep renewing that indefinitely. So this is really a great visa. In addition, it can take about 60 to 90 days for it to go through. So this is one of the fastest paths to a green card. So as I mentioned before, the H-1B, we would apply April 1st, and the soonest you could work would be October. So that is a period of time you have to wait. Where with the E2, this is something that you could get much quicker. Another thing to note about the E2 that wouldn't apply to people in the UK is that you have to be a member of a treaty country. So if you are a citizen of Brazil, Russia, India, they're not eligible. So sometimes we have to look and see if you have dual citizenship or if you have parents from a treaty country.
By creating a new operating system to install on the phone.
They are not asking Apple to redesign its product or to create a new backdoor to one of their products. They're simply asking for something that would have an impact on this one device.
But Apple says building a backdoor into the San Bernardino phone would give the FBI access to all iPhones. A court has ordered Apple to comply, but the tech giant says to do so would jeopardize the security their customers expect.
All right, you guys. So the segment that just passed was about Apple and their encryption data. So how do you guys feel when it comes to encryption? Do you think that Apple should open the back doors when it comes to encryption, the government to gain access to information that they otherwise wouldn't have had able to access?
Well, this is something that I actually did read about, just honoring their customers like that. I think the biggest thing, this is more of a precaution than anything else, because like they said, the danger is once they open this back door, then the FBI has access to anything. You have no privacy. So whatever you put out there, text, personal messages, anything can be used against you.
And Victoria, how do you feel about this?
I think they're purposely for their customers saying like, we're not going to do this voluntarily because for the company, for the business, this is something we're against. And I think it's very good for Apple and for their customers to see that. But I also think it's kind of wise. It makes the FBI, if they really want it, they have to push to get it because it's the FBI. If they wanted to get Apple to do this, they could, you know?
Right. So user Kirill actually has this really cool video with the Chinese military. So let's take a look and see.
Yeah, we were just talking about our military and how the Republicans aren't looking to cut the budget there.
It's military like high, accurate under the new president of China.
It's like an open house. They do that all the time, like to show off the military. It's like a parade, so they show all their artillery, all that stuff. I wonder how many of those people are forced to stand there and watch this whole thing.
All of them.
Literally, it's like, if you move, I'm going to shoot you and kill you. This is your obligation. smile and look happy for the Americans.
People on Periscope and Meerkat, we are looking
This
at
is your
a field.
duty as a citizen, as a responsible citizen. So,
Exactly.
welcome to the oral.
Welcome to communism, socialism.
Yes.
You look so scared. Look at that dude. It's like, I need to smile. The camera's on me. Oh, shoot. They have over 1 billion people there. I'm surprised they're using this type of theme music. I would think they would come out with like their all American.
Very American.
I would use some like old school Soviet music. Some harps or something. They do that nice harp.
Apple has refused, saying it would compromise the security of all of its customers. And just this afternoon, they went to court to block the judge's order. Dana Bash, pick up the questioning.
Senator Rubio, you say it's complicated and that, quote, Apple isn't necessarily wrong to refuse the court order. Why shouldn't investigators have everything at their disposal?
No, in fact, what I have said is that the only thing, the FBI made this very clear 48 hours ago, the only thing they are asking of Apple is that Apple allow them to use their own systems in the FBI to try to guess the password of the San Bernardino killer. Apple initially came out saying they're being ordered to create a backdoor to an encryption device. That is not accurate. The only thing they're being asked to do, and the FBI made this very clear about 48 hours ago, is allow us to disable the self-destruct mode that's in the Apple phone so that we can try to guess, using our own systems, what the password of this killer was. And I think they should comply with that.
I said when you vote, you're actually voicing out your opinion, telling people this is who I feel should win the election, and this is why I feel they should win the election. The only reason why I either vote or don't vote, which is my prerogative,
right,
is I like to see who is in line with the Word of God, and if they don't line up with the Word of God, they can go kiss off.
All right. And Jeff, what were you going to say?
A couple things. First off, I agree with Fearless. When you vote, you choose the lesser of two evils, let's say, and you vote for Smith rather than Jones. Smith doesn't say, "Oh, I got one of Jones' anti-votes." He says, "No, you voted for me." So he will interpret it as a mandate if he gets a sufficient majority, and he will think that your vote and the other votes that he got were all because he's such a swell guy and everybody wants him to do what he said he was going to do in the election when you were actually just holding your nose and voting against the other person.
Right.
So there's that. But not voting is, I think, as Fearless also said, it's saying, no, I don't accept these two choices that I'm presented with. I think they are very similar. We had a choice between Obama and McCain, and Obama ran as sort of a peace candidate, and he was nothing but that. So people like myself, even though I didn't vote for him, I thought he was going to be more anti-war than maybe McCain would have been.
Mm-hmm.
But he escalated in Afghanistan, and he dragged his feet on getting out of Iraq. And the only reason he got out of Iraq was because the Iraqi government told him that the U.S. troops, if they stayed there, they would be subject to Iraqi law. And he said, well, we can't have that. So he didn't. He pretty much continued, if not escalated, the horrible Bush policies. And so no, I would not have wanted to cast my vote for either of those characters, and we never know what we're going to get.
They literally do what they do regardless. Democrat or Republican, if you guys really look at the history of like Republican presidents and Democrat presidents, their procedures haven't really changed. They're literally like the same. They say different things during the races, but when they get into office, it's literally the same thing. They implement what the corporations or whoever backed up their campaign, because all these corporations they don't care who's elected. They give money to all these people, and whoever gets elected owes them a favor regardless. So it's a win-win for them anyway.
And Eisenhower warned us in 1961, the year I was born, this happens.
Okay.
I'm an old guy. He warned us against the military-industrial complex, the military-industrial congressional complex, as he said in his first draft, that this is really, these were the folks that were calling the shots unfortunately, he had a lot to do with escalating their growth, but he did do somewhat of a mea culpa. But that's why, foreign policy and domestic policy really doesn't change a lot, and a lot of the campaign rhetoric is window dressing. And for intelligent people to get really caught up in that drama and overlook the fact that you're getting really two handpicked establishment candidates, it's really something I think you have to push back on. And unfortunately, the only way you can push back on is just say no to the whole spectacle.
Do you do anything else, or do any of you do anything else
I do.
to feel like you're also contributing to a change or some sort of reform? See something where you actually, feel proud about going out there and voting. Like, do you do anything on the side?
Yeah, that would be my question. Well, how do you have stake in politics if you don't vote? Yeah.
Oh no, I feel I'll say my thing and then get other people's talk. But
okay,
I've been a 20-year activist for peace, free markets. I support educational efforts. I get online and debate people all the time. I think ideas are important. I think ideas have to come. Real change has to come from the ground up. I don't think it comes from the top down. As far as electing the next savior. And I actually think when people get the right ideas, or they learn to think critically and not just accept whatever dogmas passed on to them, that these ideas rise to the top, not the other way around. So I'm about writing, talking, thinking, ideas, and that's what I have found. I've done political activism. I found it to be wholly fruitless and unsatisfying, and I think working from the ground up is the way to go.
I want to say something about voting. I personally don't vote because I'm not a citizen. I'm a permanent resident. I don't have the luxury that many of you guys have to actually voting. And
Luxury is an opinion, honestly. It's not really.
And I'll tell you why I think it's a luxury, because whatever decision that you guys might take could be, it can hurt me in the future, in my future, and I don't have a say for it. Another thing is, like, you guys probably just look at voting, just presidency voting. Voting is so much more than that. When you go into depth, you actually vote for a major of your city, your county. That's what voting is all about. So when people don't vote, I think it's, if you don't vote, that's fine, but don't get upset when Google gets canceled in Broward County, because those are the people that, because you didn't vote, you didn't have a say to choose the people in your own district and your own small circle.
Right.
And I do believe voting is extremely important.
You can make it, yes, on a local election, voting holds much more sway than it does in a major election.
National election, yeah.
And I might be motivated to vote in a local election. A national election, we know from the Bush-Gore election that
don't you say anything about Florida. Do not say anything about Florida.
It doesn't matter. It could have been any place. It could have been New York or any place. That was where the final runoff was. But we know that if an election is close, it's going to be resolved by lawsuits in the Supreme Court. Your one vote is just not going to change the outcome of an election. You have a better chance of being hit by lightning, driving to the polls, than you do in affecting the outcome of an same as voting. Yeah, neither one accomplishes anything. That's my argument. But you're expressing yourself one way or the other, and they want to tell you that it's a wasted vote. They even want to tell you it's a wasted vote if you vote for somebody you can't win. So they want to even tell you, the established parties, that if you vote for a third party, that's a wasted vote. That you're, you should vote for somebody who's going to win. Well, only one person's going to win, so everybody who voted for someone.
Topics, or it's anybody can participate.
Anybody, anybody. This is like a professional newsroom that's supposed to help any incoming online participant to maintain the conversation, to choose the best one. If someone hesitates, to help him out, to make them just to overcome the shyness and indecisiveness.
Products to come down to for you. And I thought it was going to be like, it comes down to the issues. But one of my friends actually said, that it comes down to her, whoever her family is voting for. She's like, it doesn't matter to me because I know that my family members are probably more well versed on the issues than I am.
Kind of sounds like religion in a sense.
Exactly. It's like a cult following.
Well, I kind of
say, Vanessa?
I
have a question.
Go ahead, Vanessa.
Okay, when it comes to, you know,
Can you speak closer to your mic?
Can you hear now?
Yeah, better.
Okay. When it comes to your family and when you guys have different ideals, how do you go about it? Like, you know, at home, how do you have that conversation? And I don't know, I'm just kind of like interested in knowing like what everybody kind of does. Like, is it a sit around the dinner table kind of conversation, just talking about this, or do you guys even talk to your parents? I mean,
well, what do they say that rule is?
Hard for me.
You never talk about religion or politics at dinner. Have you ever heard that phrase?
Well, yeah. Okay, well,
I mean,
but it's family.
Playing your,
right?
playing your stance without any bias, then they'll understand. That's me. Like when I explain anything to anybody, I try not to put my biased ideas in it and just explain it for what it is. And if it resonates with them, they take it. If it doesn't, then it doesn't. But I feel like if you're right, then they should know that it's right.
Yeah. We're going to let the users handle this question.
Vanessa, I have an answer for you.
I have an answer.
Oh, and then give your answer, and then I have a.
Okay, well, I'm very outspoken for the people who actually know me in real life. Siobhan knows. Anyway, basically, I just, you know, I lay the facts. I'm not going to say I come for their ideas, but I listen to their reasons, and then I let them know that they're entitled to their own opinion. And I let them know. Opinion. And then I basically say why and how this, I mean, everyone in my family is, you know, they're kind of older, but they're going for Clinton, and me, I'm not. But however, I got some people on my side with Sanders. And basically, I just let them know where he's coming from, what he's trying to do, and how this helps me, because our generation is the one who's really going to get affected. I know he said earlier that it's not us, but it is us. It's not, you know, it's not, they're kind of
older than you.
We're still millennials. You're still a millennial.
I mean, I just for the record, but yeah. But yeah, I definitely just go ahead, state why. You know his platforms. You know why. Appeal to their emotions. Like if you ever want to get something, appeal to their emotions. Let's take it back to school.
And it sounds like an individualistic experience. So even if you don't side with me, you have to respect my opinion because it's coming from my individual standpoint and it's coming from what, like she says, will represent me best.
Yeah.
And like when I was in school, I was definitely for Obama because he was making sure that we got all the grants we needed. And I'm like, I need some help financially. So right now, I'm not looking at education as much. I'm looking at the economy right now. And everybody on the Republican side is looking at the economy and thinking, okay, we're going to have to go ahead and vote for Trump because he's done so well in the business side of things.
Exactly.
I mean, but honestly, Trump went bankrupt a couple of times. He has a bunch of business and closed. So just for the record, it's not all that good.
That's true, but
his shows are no longer on TV, so it's all out there.
Okay. All right. Okay, so I just sort of smoked some pot with my dad, and that's my number one thing. Like, is to not feel like it's weird anymore to like bust out a joint with my pops.
Cheers.
Thank you. I know that sounds bad, but like, you know, honestly, like straight up, like some people go to work every day and work their ass off. I'd rather come home knowing that I could smoke a little weed instead of drink a couple beers, because it makes me a heavyweight when I really just want to smoke a little weed and go to sleep. Like I've had a stressful day.
You can smoke weed and go to sleep.
You can, unless they want to fire me at work, you know.
Because those surprise random drug tests.
But now, honestly, that won't really make a difference because that's a state law, so that's definitely on the state and not federal.
Okay. Yeah,
so
but
state will trump the federal.
Yes, that's true. But if the national level, at the national federal level, if they go ahead and legalize it, then it'll basically shut down, you know, It'll
See,
fill up
I get
all
you.
states.
Where are you? Where are you? If you look on it, yes.
Yeah, I'm in Missouri, Joplin, Missouri.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I moved
to the
down here
MO.
yeah. I moved, I was south of Kansas City on the Kansas side, and then I moved down here for work, so.
Okay.
Yeah.
I just posted into DINtv.com feed.
Wow.
This website on the issues.org, and it has actually each politician's, that's especially all the presidential candidates, all their stances, their publicly stated stances on drug policy, the legalization of drugs, and on the recreational versus medical use of drugs.
It's just a failure, right? Like,
I mean, yeah.
Well, it's a failure. And, like, if you're going to be doing heroin, like, you probably shouldn't be going to work. Like, you're not going to succeed at work doing heroin. So,
wait, I'm so glad you mentioned that, because this is actually what DJ Big Daddy said is actually perfectly in line with what's going on in New Hampshire. I don't know if you guys know this, but New Hampshire has the highest incident of heroin addiction in the country. So it's a huge epidemic there, and that's been a real concern that all the candidates have had to address in their individual town halls.
Right.
And so they've all talked about it. It's fascinating, though, because you think of people, like, I know.
Put that into healthcare, right? Like,
excuse me?
Put that into healthcare, like, take out taxes and put them into healthcare and help the people that are addicted to heroin. Like, that sounds like a good idea. Like,
see, and I mean, I get you, but if they legalize that marijuana, that also will kind of make healthcare go up, because a lot of insurance agencies don't even want people who smoke, because you pay a higher deductible.
Right.
You pay a higher, so that will definitely change the healthcare. So, I mean,
Not young people, but
a really good, strong point.
I just feel like I get your sense in it, because it's like, why legalize something that has never caused any documented deaths to anyone? But alcohol and cigarettes are like the leading cause in deaths when it comes to like instances in America. So it's more or less like, why are you really legalizing this plant or this flower? Like, what's the real undertone under this?
They don't
thousands of TV streams at the same time. So their job to manage all this, to orchestrate all live streams like in real time, like air dispatcher and all.
Feed, please. This is VR, and this is like 2 cameras at the same time, and they can also. It's like a mini TV station. You can.
Scoblower says, "Why is this archaic system still used?" That's what we're trying to figure out.
I think that's a good question. Yeah, we're
You
gonna
guys
find out from.
walk up over here and see what people are.
Let's do it.
We actually have Nick from England, who also, I think, is asking the same question. So let's see what he has to say.
Resolution is on the table to adopt. Do we want to adopt a resolution for reform campaign finance in a way of overturning Citizens United? All in favor, please raise your hand. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Everyone is just -1. Okay, 23 and 24. That has been adopted. Okay, great. Now we can do the straw poll. Okay.
Okay, so they're going to do the straw poll where they decide which candidate they're going to back.
In our political system. You, on the campaign trail, have railed against big-name American corporations like Boeing and General Electric and Walmart. But some big businesses in this country have also been part of advancing progressive goals, like the nationwide initiative to expand employment opportunities for veterans. That was all about cooperation between the Obama administration and some very big businesses. The Affordable Care Act, some of the thorniest problems in that bill were worked out in cooperation with big business in order to accomplish progressive goals. Could you work with them, or have you made enemies of big business in this country with the way you've approached them in this campaign?
Of course I can work with them, but let's be clear, when I talked about Boeing and I talked about General Electric, what I was referring to is an outrage. I suspect the Secretary agrees with me. Right now you have a loophole such that these guys are putting their profits, multi-billion-dollar profitable corporations, putting billions of dollars into the Cayman Islands, Bermuda, and other tax havens. And in a given year, Rachel, after making billions of dollars in profit, you know how much they're paying in taxes to the United States government in a given year? Zero. Now explain to me how that makes any sense at all. So what I have said with regard to Boeing and GE and other multinationals that pay zero taxes, you know what we're going to do? We're going to end that loophole. They are going to pay their fair share of taxes. We're going to use that money to rebuild our infrastructure and create up to 13 million jobs. Can I work with corporations? Are there good corporations doing incredible cutting-edge research and development? Absolutely they are, and we should be proud of them. But on the other hand, there are many corporations who have turned their backs on the American worker, who have said, if I can make another nickel in profit by going to China and shutting down in the United States of America, that's what I will do. I will do my best to transform our trade policy and take on these corporations who want to invest in low-income countries around the world rather than in the United States of America.
Senator Sanders, thank you. And with that,
we'll be right back, and we're going to get to trade and a lot of other issues.
So, I mean, Hillary is out with her guns ablazing. She's like, I'm not going to make Mr. Bernie take over my spotlight. I'm head bitch in charge.
And she's like avoiding questions, dodging bullets, making sure she answers everything correctly.
I love her answer to. I love her
question.
answer to. What was the question they asked her? And she was just like, "I'll get to it."
Yeah, I'll look into that.
I'll look into it.
I'll think about that.
Yeah, give me a moment to think about a way I could dig myself out of the hole that you recognize I'm in.
See, I bet she's just like, I wish I could say what Bernie's saying right now.
I think she did. Did you not hear her? She has said, I have never heard her say anything about the pharmaceutical industry at all.
Mm-hmm.
And then he starts talking about it. It sounds super intelligent. Then 2 questions later, she says something about it. Like, whoa, you literally just said the same thing Bernie said in the same debate. And I've never heard you say anything about the
Conspiracy theorists are loving Bernie right now. He is just whistleblowing the hell out of everything. To hear him say the things that I hear like regular YouTubers that actually look into this stuff say, and like you have someone who's running for president saying these things.
Bernie just did his last chance and his last like 15 minutes of fame apparently, because of course all guns now against him. So
I like Bernie's idea of healthcare system, honestly. Like I feel like that's his biggest flaw in my eyes, is that he's going to totally redo the healthcare system, because I know the financial situation that's going to further put us in.
Hello, people. We are in debt. How do you expect taxes to be lower each year if we're in debt? This makes no sense.
Yeah.
You need to like think with your brain and know that this is not happening. Like you have to know that you're gonna have to end up paying more. But the thing is, let the people that pay more make that pay more group expand to the 1% and not just to the middle class who ends up having to pick up the slack from everybody else, because they're pretty much holding the economy together so it hasn't collapsed yet. You know, you have the 1% who doesn't pay as much taxes, and the poor people below the poverty line who aren't able to make up for those taxes. So the middleman in the middle has to make up for both. So
And then kind of bounce back and forth between never being able to become and just about. And yeah.
So yeah, Sanders is winning. He's in the lead right now. He's at
Yeah.
53%, and
Earlier he was at 51%, and it was a pretty big deal. I'm kind of liking. that
I'm
he's
surprised,
growing.
honestly.
Me too. I am really surprised. I really didn't think. I have a lot of hope for Sanders, but because of all the connections Clinton has,
Yeah.
I
don't
really.
know. Like, did you, Jeff? Did you happen to see? Did you hear anything about the whole voting system with Hillary and how some of her representatives that were counting the body counts were actually like ignoring some people and telling them it didn't matter?
You mean in Iowa?
Yeah. Did you see that video of the guy? The girl was like, "Hey, you're missing 2 people for Sanders." He was like, "They don't matter."
No, I heard that there were. I didn't hear of the details, but I heard that there were 6 in 6 of the, I guess, the reporting precincts or whatever. There were 6 coin tosses, and that she magically won all 6 of them.
Oh my gosh!
And that the odds of winning 6 coin toss are like 1 in 64.
Yeah.
So
Like-
next time you go to the track, take Hillary with you,
or buy the track, buy the track so you can
just make sure,
to make you win. Like,
yeah.
do
So
that.
anyway, yeah.
I mean, Hillary needs to really pull some punches tonight because people are swaying towards Bernie. Grandpa Bernie is winning the people over, you know.
Especially, I feel like tonight, I'm liking what he's saying. I feel like he has a lot to say, and it seems solid. And
Because now that I think about it, the only
Right.
person in the Republican Party that I hear talk about corporations or like people selling out to them is Trump. Everybody else, I haven't heard them say anything when it comes to corruption or like anything like that.
And I think that's why a
Well,
lot of
yeah,
people
that's-
like Trump
that's-
is because he stands out from the Republicans so much. Because the rest of the Republican Party doesn't talk about these things.
What do you
And-
think, Jeff?
Oh, well, as far as Hillary Clinton, I think she's just as crooked as Bill Clinton was.
Oh.
But she doesn't have the charm. You know, he could just magically get through it.
What an odd couple. Now that you think about it, because Clinton is such a, like, from his persona that he put out there, he's very like man's man, like cool, chill guy, cool guy that you see. He's friends with everyone.
Yeah, you'd like to have a beer with him. He seems like a great guy.
The
Yeah.
cool guy.
Yeah.
The greaser.
He's a jazz player. That was a huge thing. Like, people loved that about him, that he would like play the saxophone and stuff. So, and Hillary's just, to me, it's very
Kind of to herself, modest.
Oh,
very,
yeah, she's
like,
just
type
horrible.
A. Go to one step to the next step. You have something interesting
Yeah.
to say? Okay. Actually, I didn't hear any of it. Okay, bye.
I think Michelle Obama was a very good first lady. I think.
Mhm.
I think she was good, like socially. I mean, I don't mean like with really hard hitting, like hard hitting,
And she
like
really kinda get
policies. No,
involved.
it was more like cute little, like, let's get our kids healthy. Like, stop eating.
Yeah, stop. Gotta get rid of all the fat kids.
Yeah.
I think she was a great
That's just
person,
an opposite.
honestly. I
Get rid of
actually
the
think
fat.
I like Michelle Obama more than I like Barack Obama, just because I think she's just been really good at her job to be kind of seen but not heard,
Right.
like
She's like
but involved.
hmm I haven't heard anything bad about her. Only like when reporters, like, I think there was once where a reporter described her as a gorilla. Like in, I think in Colombia, they were like playing a clip of her, and the lady said, she looked like a gorilla, and she got fired all the way in Colombia. Like,
That's not very nice.
I think the whole family, like even the kids too, they haven't really been in the media, and these are older kids. Like the only thing you've heard about their Obama's children, which Obama, his whole family, he's been in the media. A
oh,
lot.
these girls are beautiful. They
Like,
grew up so nice. I loved
you
watching
hear
them grow up.
Very like nice and
like this is the
hear that she's graduating and he's gonna cry at her graduation. He's really emotional and he just wants
Well,
to
that's
be a
any parent.
father.
It's not like
I mean, like they sound like real people. That's what I'm saying. Like I think they do a good job of him not.
they don't
being,
sound like the,
my daughter's
the
graduating.
reptilians that we're dealing with Hillary and.
they've really kept their kids out of the limelight. It seems like because I know this is not scientific, but I did crossword puzzles, and I always knew the names of the Bush children and the, you know the Chelsea Clinton and all of that. But they'll be like Clinton's daughter, and I'm like, I don't know their names. You know,
Chelsea, right?
Well, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I meant Obama's daughter.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I don't know their names. I don't know much about them. The only
She's
thing
only
I've
had
heard
one
about
scandal.
them is that she's graduating.
She's only had one big thing, and I think they took a picture of her at some frat party, like orientation that she went, like she was visiting colleges, and I guess like when you visit colleges, the tour guide will take you to like the different frats, and I guess they caught a picture of her like near a pong table, like a beer pong table at the frat.
Oh,
well, I think that the Bush girl.
No, it was Malaya.
But like that doesn't bother me. It's like,
Yeah, I don't care.
okay, I don't care. Like for one, that could be water pong. It doesn't have to necessarily be alcohol because that's a waste of money anyway to put alcohol in all of those cups. For two, if you're drinking, then okay, cool, you're drinking.
And then you just go.
I was wondering if after all these years everything They say the time's supposed to heal.
Peter, just
it gets better. No, it gets better.
No, it gets so much better. We can only show 30 seconds or we have to pay them. I'm gonna put the link in the DINtv.com feed because it's really funny.
So can we talk about how Adele told Trump not to use her music anymore?
Isn't that it?
How can she solve that problem if she can't play her song?
Like, I did not give you permission, sir. Oh my God, I thought that was the best. I'm like, Adele, she is my spirit animal, even though she's not an animal. Okay.
Hey, Eddie said that on Periscope. Thank you for joining us. You're missing, we just played an Adele clip. We're talking about, we're following up with the Republican, the New Hampshire caucus and Republican and Democratic results. Bernie Sanders winning the Democratic caucus, Donald Trump winning the Republican caucus. And let's now check in to see if we're getting a concession speech either from Clinton.
We're not yet. No, I will let you guys know, but we are not.
Well, in the meantime, we still have Trump with 34%, John Kasich with 15, Bush with 12, Cruz with 12, and Rubio with 10. So again, the bottom three are Christie, Fiorina, and Carson. Going into South Carolina.
That's so sad.
I think Carson needs to drop out the race.
Carson need not have run, but don't get us started. Ooh, Eddie on Periscope said F Carson.
What?
Tell us how you really feel.
Guys.
That is not, those do not represent the views of DINtv.com, but we do support everyone's individual right to expression. Exactly.
So you guys, ideally, what topics do you want the candidates for the Democrats and Republicans to actually touch on? Because I feel like they haven't touched on a lot of the things that the people want to hear. But what are some subjects that you feel like they should start really hammering down and talking?
That's an awesome question.
Let's open that up to the panel because I have no.
I'm gonna just say my piece really quickly. We Andres and I we were talking about this, and then it came up about global warming and climate change. And I'm a big environmentalist, but I've been seeing that they only touch on the surface, and they're like, we need to go ahead and do something about it, but they don't say what it is. So if they can maybe divulge that a little bit more and make it clearer for me, because I need to know more than I need to recycle.
Well,
how can I help? How can I decrease my footprint?
More than recycling.
And to follow up on that very quickly, let's discuss how I picked up my puppy from daycare today on Miami Beach. And if you guys don't know, in Miami Beach, they're literally raising the street level by 10 inches to stop the flooding because Miami Beach is literally sinking. They're used in government papers to refer to what's happening as global warming. When that is actually exactly what's happening. The globe is getting warmer, water levels are rising because the glaciers are melting. So I agree. What would you guys like your political candidates to discuss?
Oh, I want to hop in here on this one.
Yeah. Get in there.
Get in there.
Let me get in there.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Okay, so I just sort of smoked some pot with my dad, and that's my number one thing. Is to not feel like it's weird anymore to bust out a joint.
It's from me to you. Cheers.
Thank you. I know that sounds bad, but straight up, some people go to work every day and work their ass off. I'd rather come home knowing that I could smoke a little weed instead of drink a couple beers because it makes me a heavyweight when I really just want to smoke a little weed and go to sleep. I've had a stressful day.
You can smoke weed and go to sleep.
You can, unless they want to fire me at work,
Because those surprise random drug tests.
But now, honestly, that won't really make a difference because that's a state law. So that's definitely on the state and not federal.
Okay. Yeah,
so
but
the state will trump the federal.
Yes, that's true. But if the national level, national federal level, if they go ahead and legalize it, then it'll basically shut down. It'll all states.
Where are you?
If you look on it,
yeah, I'm in Missouri, Joplin, Missouri.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I moved
to that.
I moved. I was south of Kansas City, on the Kansas side, and then I moved down here for work. So,
okay.
Yeah.
I just posted into DINtv.com feed.
Wow.
This website on the issues.org, and it has actually each politician's, that's especially all the presidential candidates, all their stances, their publicly stated stances on drug policy, the legalization of drugs, and on the recreational versus medical use of drugs.
It's just a failure, right? Like,
I mean, yeah.
Well, it's a failure. And like, if you're going to be doing heroin, like, you probably shouldn't be going to work. Like, you're not going to succeed at work doing heroin. So,
wait, I'm so glad you mentioned that, because this is actually what DJ Big Daddy said is actually perfectly in line with what's going on in New Hampshire. I don't know if you guys know this, but New Hampshire has the highest incident of heroin addiction in the country. So it's a huge epidemic there, and that's been a real concern that all the candidates have had to address in their individual town halls.
Right.
And so they've all talked about it. It's fascinating, though, because you think of people like, I know.
Put that into healthcare, right? Like,
excuse me?
Put that into healthcare, like,
it's
take out taxes and put them into healthcare and help the people that are addicted to heroin. Like, that sounds like a good idea. Like,
see, and I mean, I get you, but if they legalize that marijuana, that also will kind of make healthcare go up, because a lot of insurance agencies don't even want people who smoke, because you pay a higher deductible.
Right.
You pay a higher, so that will definitely change the healthcare. So, I mean, I get you, but it's not a really good strong point.
I just feel like I get your sense in it, because it's like, why legalize something that has never caused any documented deaths to anyone? But alcohol and cigarettes are like the leading cause in deaths when it comes to like instances in America. So it's more or less like, why are you really legalizing this plant or this flower? Like, what's the real undertone under this?
They don't legalize it because they are not the ones behind it, so they won't get the money and the income from it. So it doesn't benefit them.
Yeah.
But would you guys also,
guys,
what do you say to people?
May I put to my coins?
Yeah, put your 2 cents.
Maybe it seems for me, maybe I'm wrong, pardon, but does it seem for you that you just were manipulated by one idea? Okay, please give us this legalized marijuana. It will magically solve all our problems. Economy will grow. We'll all have like something to relax. Is it really a solution?
No.
Come on, people. You just like, I don't know, you like narrow down tunnel vision on just one small like thing.
No, I don't understand it. Yeah, I don't want to make that a running.
You're talking about like in America, in a sense, like America, like how we never can like get one issue across. It's always something on top of something on top of something.
I was trying to figure what you were saying.
Yeah, Big Daddy's making a point.
I was making a point about what I think his name is Krill.
Yeah.
Fighting for people who.
Go ahead.
Okay, so yeah, I just felt like I have to agree with what he's saying. It's not good for the children of the world. Obviously, I don't want to see my kids grow up smoking pot when they're 10 years old. Obviously, I think that's horrible. But at the same time, like, we are hurting as an economy because, you know, we've run ourselves into debt. We've been in wars for the past more than 10 years. We need some kind of, like, economic stimulus to kind of boost our economy back up.
Mm-hmm.
Now, yes, it's not the most healthy thing for America, but I feel like the majority of the people that will be, you know, probably buying the pot or whatever will obviously be using it in a recreational manner, but at the same time, most of us who actually smoke are light smokers and use it for a creative outlet instead of like this, I just smoke to get messed up kind of ideals. So I think it would be half and half. Obviously, there's a good side and there's a bad side to everything, but from what I see from a music perspective, from people that go out and party, you might start to see people who go out and smoke instead of drink. So now you're going to have less drunk drivers on the road killing people.
I know that for a fact. I completely agree with you on that, Sean. I really believe that people are going to turn more to smoking than to drinking if it were to become legal on a federal level.
Just to play devil's advocate,
it's been legal there forever, and you don't see any violence or craziness happening over there. So I don't understand why it's such a big deal to make it legal here in America, you know?
Well, let's just curb the idea of getting high and driving, period. We're in 2016. There's Uber, there's Lyft, and there are cabs.
But where's the money, though?
In Miami, there's been a large decrease. They published it this year. A huge decrease in the number of DUIs and DWIs given to drivers in this region. I think it's because of the advent of these ride-sharing services.
Right.
So whether or not they legalize marijuana or any other naturally occurring drugs, let's just stay away from using them and then driving. Just playing devil's advocate here. I'm all for it, but we'll have to listen.
I think the legalization of marijuana would be more of a jumping off point in the liberal sense. It's like, okay, if we can tackle this idea, it won't be like the end all be all. This is not what the debate comes down to or how we decide who we're going to vote for. But if we can get this issue squared away, then we can start thinking about things like how our economy can grow. We can start thinking about what we can put in place of Obamacare if we do get rid of it. We can start thinking about other liberal things that would help us, and it would be self-interest. Well, our self-interest would be validated by. So it wouldn't be just like legalization of marijuana. It's the jumping off point to something else.
She went off.
It's like she went off. Scary for them because it's like, okay, we legalized marijuana and the world didn't end. What happens if people start wanting to restructure other things in the government? We lost all control over the people.
Kevin, Pedro, we're with you. We're with you, but you gotta put the headphones on, brother.
Yeah.
we are riding this wave with you, but
you need headphones. Nay, is Hillary speaking? Is anybody speaking yet?
Right now, no one's speaking, but Sanders is getting close to coming out.
How close to?
I know it. He has people standing in the background.
Headphones on. I'm gonna tell him right now. Well, look, you know what? Let's give Sanders, first of all, shout out to OG Queen on Periscope. Let's give Sanders the benefit of the doubt. He is in New Hampshire having the time of his life at the size of his win. So let's.
Yeah, he's like over 11,000 votes ahead of Clinton right now, so that's pretty good.
Exactly.
But I mean, that was to be expected.
It was, but hey, whatever.
Blabbers, do you guys have any? Oh, we got the Studio Zoo at Gmail. Do you want to call in, Scoop 303 on?
They call in, you guys click the check mark because sometimes they'll be calling in and you won't hear a sound. It's just gonna pop up, so you have to look at the black.
Yeah, he's not calling in. And thank you, Ayame, for joining us on
Wait, guys, I think we have Clinton.
We have Clinton.
Oh no!
You sound like Andy on
Miss Jackson, we're gonna need you to
Prada.
Patrick, like you're on top of the reference.
Yes, she's always working, so she can never come.
You have so much fun. We talk about all types of stuff too. You too, Sean. You guys are really
the way my schedule is set up.
You guys are really getting DINtv information.
Laptop.
So Kevin, can you repost the link? Which site was it from?
CNN is streaming Clinton live right now.
And in live stream,
well,
we're getting a concession speech on the New Hampshire Constitution from Secretary of State Hillary Rodham Clinton. We're going to get that for you guys. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Let's see if we can make this happen. Oh no!
The devil is so busy.
That's not her.
Peter and his countdown. Seriously,
it's like the devil is so busy.
The devil doesn't stop. Don't ever forget that. He's always looking to do something.
You guys really pulled the honeys around here. And we got a couple good looking females.
That's like a
Imagine if you come in and Oksana, hey on Periscope, thank you for joining. We're talking about the New Hampshire caucuses and trying to tune into Hillary Clinton's live stream of her concession speech to Senator Bernie Sanders in the New Hampshire
caucuses. Let's see if I can post it now, and let's see if it's going to go for me.
Clinton is live. See if you see how you're playing live. Oh, here we go.
You're a grandmother.
I want to see her cry.
Stop, Kevin.
She's not going to cry.
Paying rent and buying medicine.
Ooh, take off that turtleneck.
She's black and black.
She looks like a man, right? Yeah. She looks like she's a female.
That a cashier that I met here in New Hampshire's son is paid less than her son for doing the same work, even though she's been on the job for more years. Now, people People have every right to be
What did we walk in on? What was she talking about?
She's talking about
but
gender
they're
inequality.
also hungry. They're hungry for solutions.
She's trying to
What are we
appeal
going
to women.
to do?
She decided to be closer to the people.
And that is
Why she-
we're taking to the country. What
Is that why she looks like somebody's grandmother? Like,
Stop it. Focus on what she's saying.
Everyone
is the best change maker. And here's what I promise. Here's what I promise. I will work harder than anyone to actually make the changes that make your lives better. In this campaign, you've heard a lot about Washington and about Wall Street.
this is a lot of Hillary right
Now,
now.
Senator Sanders and I both want to get secret, unaccountable money out of politics. And let's remember, Citizens United.
Is that what they're calling it now? Secret, unaccountable money? That's what she said.
She's like, I'm not going to take any credit for taking big
She's
money.
not going to
I'm
see
not.
corporate corruption at all, because she know better.
And my
This is a game to them. It's a word game.
A
It's
right-wing
wordplay. That's exactly what it is.
took aim at me and ended up damaging our entire democracy. So yes, you're not going to find anybody more committed to aggressive campaign finance reform than me.
We're gonna stick a pin in this for a second because there are two things that Secretary Clinton just touched on that I'm going to open up everybody's microphones again so we can have a dialogue. And I'm going to put something out there and then I want to discuss, sort of like SNL. The first thing, we walked in on Hillary Clinton talking about the gap in pay for men and women, the so-called A Little Better Law. As we know, women make 77% of a dollar. Women of color make 6% on the dollar. So there's a huge gender pay gap. And that is something that Hillary Clinton was talking about when we first checked in her concession speech for tonight's New Hampshire caucuses. Does anyone think that it's a little strategic for her to discuss something that pertains directly to women as she is the lone female candidate in the Democratic race? It's a game.
When she first started, like when the last debate where she was like, I don't want to be known for a woman that's running as a female president.
Headphones, somebody.
And now she's like doing all of that. Can you guys hear me good?
It's a lot of background noise, so we can hear you.
Girl, all right.
Yeah, like she talked about, like Bernie brought up, I forget what it was, the last GOP debate, Bernie brought up something and her response is, oh, I'm not that because I'm a woman.
Yeah, exactly.
And it was like, what?
And now she's jumping on the woman.
I can't be a murderer. I'm a woman.
That's on that bandwagon.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Well-
she can't be using that as a defense shield. You know what I mean? Like, that means anybody can use it as a defense shield. It's just not a good thing to put up. You know what I mean? And also, the whole thing about going after the female Bernie Sanders followers.
Yeah.
Wasn't it her rep?
Oh, we lost the feed. I lost the
Talking
feed, yo.
about
we still have the feed.
Boys and stuff. I thought that was horrible.
It's just like, like I said early on, I was a Hillary supporter. And I'm like, all of these things are slowly catching up with her and it's being like recognized to me. And I don't think it's a good approach to say, you know what? I believe in feminism and anybody who doesn't support me is just against women.
It's a dangerous
It's not
statement.
a good tactic.
It's a slippery slope. And I think the second thing that we should discuss, and this goes to Big Daddy's point earlier, was that the second thing she said was, she was like, I am a person who is all for campaign finance reform. And it's like, princess, do you know where the majority of your money comes from?
Exactly.
You know what you've been doing for literally 23 years. And again, I have no dog in this fight.
If she was a car, she would have stickers all over her. If she was a car.
What did you just say?
Got from folks at Sanders give New Hampshire primary features and Trump as well. So maybe let's
we're gonna go
on
back.
them.
Okay.
Well, we can try.
The rest of us. But when children
Let's listen to what this old crap still Hillary.
It's still Hillary.
or are denied
Yes, the hair's still on.
I'm ready for her to go.
Yeah, the thing is, that's the thing with these concession speeches. Like,
The losers usually always come out first.
Yeah, why don't we get to talk for so long?
Politics are so
It's coming. Yes.
What are you saying, Anae?
The losers always go first.
They always go. But imagine if politics are so interesting. If I were, it's the one place where you can win 30% and be second place and still be given a platform in which to make your point.
Exactly.
If I were the loser, I would say, you know what? Better luck next time. See you guys in South Carolina. I have some work to do. Like, God bless. And she's out here giving you.
She gets paid 6 figures to talk, so she's gonna talk.
That's true.
And she's gonna do it well. I mean, she has to. I mean, this is gonna get her there. You see her arrow? She's moving on down.
I really like this track.
She's trying to reach as many people.
Thank you. I love you too.
If you're joining us on Meerkat or Periscope, you can't hear what our DINtv.com viewers are saying. So hop on over. But Vanessa just said that Hillary's trying to get reach as many viewers as possible, and I think that's a very good point. This is her chance to sort of sell herself to people who aren't on her team, or people who there's still undecided voters out there. As much as Bernie won by, there are people who have no idea.
I feel like when I was listening to her speech just now, all I heard was uterus. I have a uterus.
Oh Lord! We're done talking. We're done talking to Kevin. Get out of here. We're done talking to Kevin.
Like that's all she's saying.
Did anyone catch what
something about a dirty something. That's
yeah, this is what number beer is this? Give this man some legal pot to smoke. So
We're not talking to Sean anymore. We're not talking to Sean anymore.
Come on now.
Only people.
I got brown points.
No, you make awesome points.
Victoria, what were you saying? We're gonna focus on Victoria because everybody else is sucking right now.
That's totally what Hillary's saying, though. I mean, she's basically like, I'm a woman, and that's the only benefit I have. And it's like, okay, that's great that you're a woman, but can we save the first woman president for someone good?
Palin had run.
The shit.
Whoa.
I feel like a lot of people will vote for her just because she's a woman. That's it. Because she
Martha Stewart.
Well, that's really interesting because I think we would you vote for someone based on demographics and what they represent to you? Like
a lot of people voted on Obama. A lot of people I know voted on Obama because it was the first African American president.
Yeah.
But aside from that, Obama did have some good platforms.
Yeah. He was a good public speaker too.
Yeah.
I don't know. I never got moved by Obama's speeches, honestly. Like when I listen to him, like I get more moved by Bernie than Obama.
I really enjoy.
Fine, so he get me in more than one way.
Okay, so I have to say this one thing.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so Obama's speeches are obviously better than Bush, right?
Right.
Clearly.
There we go. That's all we have to say. Sounds really good hearing Obama.
That's like comparing Tupac to Biggie. You can't do that.
Lord, did she just do a reference?
I kind of like it. Interestingly enough, though, there was an op-ed in the New York Times. I just started for you guys in the DINtv.com feed. It's called.
Okay, Clinton is done. She's finished talking.
Let's listen to what Bernie's gonna say.
Oh, is Bernie's just that on?
No,
okay, Clinton is finished finally.
Well, there's this New York op-ed in the New York Times called "I Miss Barack Obama," and it talks about how campaigning has changed since he last ran for president, because he ran respectful campaigns and put forth enough policy where you were comfortable with where he was going, but he didn't give you so many specifics that you couldn't ride with him, and because he didn't make promises that he couldn't keep. And they said that one of the things about Barack Obama was
other candidates did.
Well, they did too, but he put it forth very confidently. He knew where he stood, and while he was young like Rubio, he gave people faith that he could do the job.
I was going to say
there are a lot of comparisons. What they're saying in this article with Obama is like they said that he was almost too confident.
Okay.
Which is fine. But now we're seeing candidates who are underconfident, and that's like a Marco Rubio who up until Saturday night was getting these Obama comparisons.
He needs to stay in his lane. That's not his lane.
The thing is, Barack Obama could navigate lanes. And Marco Rubio is sort of a one-trick pony.
We don't want Rubio as president, so no.
Let's put up a scenario. If Obama and Sanders who do you think would win? Who do you think would win?
How much time?
I would say Obama.
Wait, I didn't hear that.
Obama and Sanders were running against each other. Who will win?
If you're joining us on Meerkat or Periscope or Blab, Kevin on DINtv.com asked if Barack Obama were running against Bernie Sanders, who would win the race? And I want to open it to you guys. I have my answer.
Oh, well, we can't even answer this question. We're gonna wait. We're gonna wait to answer this question. Has he started speaking it?
He hasn't started, so hurry up. It gives you about 5
No, I feel like I'm being rushed now.
No, well, I think
You see how she just rushed me? Just rude.
I'm just gonna say Obama would win, but y'all.
I think his speech would be a lot more charismatic.
I think it's Obama. Because Obama's, I don't know, he's too stuck up. He seems like a Howard guy. Peter understands exactly what I'm saying.
No, Peter doesn't understand. Peter is not Team Pedro/Kevin.
Pedro Kevin.
Pedro.
If you're joining us, we're about to watch Senator Bernie Sanders' victory speech in the New Hampshire caucus. He won the Democratic primary in New Hampshire, neighboring state to his state of Vermont. Here we go.
Thank you, New Hampshire.
He won by a lot, too.
Yeah.
Shortly after.
How much did he win by? I know he was 58 and Hillary what?
Hillary was 40, I think.
Very gracious.
Yeah, she was 48. Yeah, she was 40. I'm looking at it on the Gen Live screen.
Congratulate her and her supporters for the vigorous campaign they ran in New Hampshire.
Hi, Youngest in Charge on Meerkat. Come over to DINtv.com and chat with us live.
And
we're right now watching
take this
Sanders' speech, his victory speech for the primary.
He's pretty old.
He is. Oh my God, that trouble.
Matter. Look at Congress. There's guys in Congress who are living at home. They're not really alive.
Well, he could have stayed in Congress.
I think he's the perfect face for America.
Our volunteers
I feel like you're going a little far, but okay.
Made phone calls and knocked on
His ideas, like they're so like he's trying to make moves. Trying to open up that 1% and make it.
because of your energy. Thank you.
Come on, Pedro for president.
But his real name is Kevin, by the way.
And I want to thank
Yo, I would legit like executive order marijuana.
No, I was making a reference on Napoleon Dynamite.
Oh, yeah, I saw that meme going around.
For Pedro here.
We have sent a message.
You just say Pedro over there.
Will echo from Wall Street to Washington, from Maine to California.
Devon, are both of them unmuted? The video streams?
No, it's just this one.
Belongs to all of the people and not just a handful of wealthy campaign contributors.
Yeah, there's something. Someone is.
Yeah, somebody. It's not the other stream. It's somebody else.
Everywhere, yes. And we broadcast any breaking news from anywhere, just from any place. So there is no place to hide anymore. But you can deliver. No. It's something you share it. Something different. This is life. Yes. Oh, okay. Now.
On the issue of citizenship, Donald.
Don't take a fight with Donald.
On the issue of citizenship, Donald. I'm not going to use your mother's birth against you. Because it wouldn't work.
I mean, definitely. I mean, I shouldn't be able to go to Walmart, buy my sweet potato pie, and then go down the aisle and buy a gun, AK-47. Like, that's
definitely not. Yeah, that's a really bad idea.
Man, give me a great country and charge me a little bit more. That's okay. I mean, I got a real big problem with the system that we have right now. If you come in, you're going to pay $300,000-400,000 grand for your kid to go to college.
I think a great tactic for the drug war would be to follow suit with what Portugal did, which was to legalize a lot of the drugs. They actually did all drugs, but take money that they spent on prosecuting people and spend it on putting people back into society. So if you were a former mechanic and you're now a drug addict and they're trying to rehabilitate you, they go to a mechanic school, and say, we'll pay half of the salary if you hire this person. And it gives people a sense of meaning.
Classic American politicians that, act like they care, but they don't care. I mean, like, mostly he's a business guy. He went to Harvard Business School, like Donald Trump. I mean, these guys are the American equivalent of the oligarchs.
And the main point in the Congress is not that Republicans and Democrats hate each other. That's a mythology from the media. The real issue is that Congress is owned by big money and refuses to do what the American people want them to do.
Your leg in, put your leg out, put your leg in, and shake it all about. Well, I'll be doing the hokey pokey then, won't I? It's just that I have a plethora of common sense. For all the crimes that I committed, I didn't blame the police.
It's late. Shut up. Really? Give me a shut up. What?
I feel that people approach politics in much the same way they approach religion, in terms of having faith in a candidate or sort of projecting their own ideals onto a candidate. I think they do the same thing with God. I think they look at the universe and try to anthropomorphize it and create this narrative where there's this benevolent person who's going to take care of you. I think people do that with politics as well. I think there are a lot of similarities. That I don't think everybody necessarily thinks that way, but I think there's a lot of commonality between the two.
Yeah, in this state, it's definitely something that's allowed. Anybody who's in their backyard, they're allowed to go ahead and shoot a gun if somebody's invading their property. That's scary. How do you go out in the state?
Oh, actually,